Welcome to Business Venture Exchange Africa, and this program is hosted by IAZ. We're here in Livingston at the Insurance Conference 2017, and we're talking about unlocking Africa's insurance potential. We're chatting about this with the CEO of African Actuarial Consultants based in Harare. His name is Tinashe Mashoko. Tinashe, welcome to Business Venture Exchange.
Thank you.
Right.
And good afternoon to your guests.
Thank you for coming and attending the insurance conference this year. What is your take on this year's conference?
The conference has been very, very useful. A lot of engaging deliberations. We had quite some high-powered speakers from the Minister of Finance, who was our keynote speaker. He spoke very well about what we as an industry need to do in order to grow the industry and to deepen some of the services that we're currently offering. So I'm quite excited coming out of this conference on a number of the recommendations and deliberations that we as an industry need to take forward.
Right. Now you're operating in the insurance industry in Zimbabwe. What are some of the key challenges that you're facing and how are they being dealt with?
Great. The challenges in our market are pretty much similar to the Zambian market. So they evolve around the ability to offer premium rates that are not, we call it undercutting in the industry, but that are really reflective of what risks we are running as insurers. They also revolve around the need to build capacity. So this is building perhaps fewer but larger insurers, which can take on some of the large risks that we as insurers need to take from time to time. One of the consequences of not having large insurers that can take on these risks is that as African countries, we are seeing our premiums being externalized. And an often cited reason is that there are not big enough insurers in the market that can absorb these risks. So a lot of similarities. If also one looks at the area of lack of skills in areas like risk managers, like expert underwriters, like actuaries, for instance, we are finding that our challenges in Zimbabwe are pretty much what we're also seeing in Zambia.
Right. One of the main key points that the Honorable Minister of Finance was emphasizing on was the need for partnering and partnerships in the industry. As we were chatting before the interview began, you were telling me about how, as CEO of African Actuarial Consultants, you recently partnered with one of the largest insurance players on the international market, not just the local market. What was that process like for you?
Right. It's a very fruitful process. I think for us as a company, for all our staff, we are quite excited by the partnership. We think the partnership will bring with it access to some of the leading ways of doing business. Alexander Forbes, who have partnered with us, are the largest firm of actuaries on the African continent where it relates to employee benefits. We think we will have a lot to learn from them, that they will help us as a firm grow, train more young actuaries. As Africa, it's an area where we have sort of fallen behind in that specialized field of actuaries, and we think with their support we'll be able to get more of our people qualifying as actuaries in time to come.
What were some of the hesitations in giving away a part of your company, something that you built? Which is what is going through the minds of most of the, about 35 insurance companies we have in Zambia, whom are being encouraged to partner, as you've done.
Yes, those things I think do come across, I think, and even the minister did allude to us to try and shy away from the need to do business by business cards and not be possessed by titles such as chairman or CEOs. What I think for us is important is fewer but perhaps bigger firms is the right way to go as an industry. So a lot of small firms, one-man shows, are not necessarily good, capacity being required, and for that to happen, you really need partners on board like Alexander Forbes.
So how did you get to a place of being convinced that that was the right thing for you to do from a personal perspective?
Right. So for me as a person, I think the partnership has immediately opened access to markets, which would have taken us many years to get into. The Alexander Forbes Group is in 5 countries outside South Africa. If I look at in Uganda, in Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, and Nigeria, where they currently operate, for us with our small brand as African actuarial consultants, it would have taken us quite a while to establish a presence and gain credibility. We think we have overcome that through merely signing of the partnership deal.
What would be your last word to those players on our market that are listening to you? The minister, government has given them until September this year to be able to raise the required, the capital requirement to continue operating as insurance players on the market in Zambia. And they're listening to you right now, and they're hesitating to partner. What would you say to that person right now?
I would say to the insurers out there that insurance is a game that involves a lot of complex risks. In order to do that effectively, one needs effectively bigger balance sheets, and one can only do that by having the high capital requirements that the Minister of Finance is encouraging the industry to adopt from 1 September. So I would approach it from a positive perspective. There should be opportunities to now consolidate. Right. It doesn't have to be necessarily partnering with a foreign entity, but amongst local players themselves, they can come together, create perhaps slightly fewer but bigger insurers that can take on the big risks and diversify these across the industry.
Tinashe, thank you for making time for us on Business Venture Exchange.
Thank you for having me.
Right. We're talking to Tinashe, who's coming all the way from Harare, Zimbabwe, a professional and expert actuarial consultant working in Zimbabwe, and he's here attending the Insurance Conference 2017. You've been watching Business Venture Exchange Africa, brought to you by IAZ. I'm Faith Chitulangoma. Thank you for watching.